All right, guys and gals, y'all come on in. I'm going to show you how to make a simple and delicious sweet potato casserole. All right, sweet potato casserole. Now, my potatoes were in the oven. I timed it. Okay, I don't normally time it, but I timed it today because I know sometimes people need exact measurements, exact timing, and all of that kind of stuff. So we cook these potatoes on 350 for an hour and a half. All right, 350 for an hour and a half. Now, this is why I don't boil my potatoes anymore. That boiling, all of that water hits them and it waters the potato down. That's why you have to add so much sugar to try to get it where it needs to be. You see that orange stuff in the bottom of the pan? That is the potato releasing its natural sugar. Okay? That's the potato releasing its natural sugar. You can't get that when you're boiling. All right? So these are still hot. I like to work with my potatoes while they're hot, but if you have to cool them off, then you do so. Okay? If you have to cool them off, you do so. So what I'm going to do is this bowl. I go in while they hot. I don't wait till it cool off. Clip them ends. And I take a knife, not to run it too deep, but to cut that out, you can still see it smoking. And I peel them, okay? And I do this bare hand normally. All right? Now, everybody won't be able to do this, I understand. So just wait until it cools off, if that suits you better. All right? And these are 4 medium potatoes. And I'm going to tell you exactly how I'll bake them. Just give me a second. All right? I'm going to tell you exactly how I bake them. I already told you it was an hour and a half on 350. 350, 375. All right? Sweet potato casserole. Look. See that steam? It's still hot. Y'all tap the screen and share the live. 4 medium potatoes. Now you can also dice these potatoes up and boil them if you want to. It's up to you. All right, it is up to you. And you can smell the sugar when you cook them in the oven. You can smell the sugar, that natural sweetness. Tap the screen, share the live. Sweet potato souffle. I'm going to do sweet potato pies probably toward the end of the week or no later than Monday. So you know that's hot. That's my oven coming to temp. If I don't open and close it, it'll sing all night. Now, I needed my other phone so I can show you all this. I take my potatoes and I rub them down in oil. It doesn't matter what kind of oil. Sometimes I use canola. Sometimes I use vegetable oil. It's whatever I have on hand. You just take them and you just rub them down. Okay? Take them and rub them down with oil. Canola, vegetable, whatever it is. Take them, put them in the oven, and let them cook. All right? See, there's no oil floating around in the pan or none of that. Just take it and rub the potatoes down and move on. All right? Now, I'm going to show you guys how I get my strings out of my potatoes. I've been doing this for years, ever since I learned how to make sweet potato pies, and I learned that I don't like strings. So the newest way to do it, which is how I started to show you all today, but I know a lot of people don't have this, so I'm not going to do it this way. The easiest way to do it, if you have one of these, which is a food processor, Okay? If you have, oh, the Lord, y'all, about to get me flagged. I forgot. Anyway, if you have a food processor, I can't show brands over here on the TikTok. If you have a food processor, all you got to do is put your potatoes in there, use the blade, chop it up, a couple of turns, and it'll cut the potatoes up. Okay? It'll cut the potatoes up. But how I do it, for the people that don't have that, I don't know about, some people don't care about strings. Me, I despise them. Okay? If I see strings, I'm not even going to eat it. See all that smoke coming out that bowl? See, there's nothing in here yet. I'm just telling y'all what I do, okay? You don't have to do this. If you want to swallow strings, you can do that. Yeah. You see that? That's ridiculous. That is flat out ridiculous. All of that, and that's still not all of it. Okay? That's nowhere near all of it. I'm just gonna go ahead and get me some paper towel. All right. This is what I do until I'm satisfied. Right here. This is what I do. And again, I've been doing this for years. And I do it until I'm satisfied. This is the longest part of the pie right here. But if you're not concerned about strings, it'll be a short part for you because you won't have to do this. But I do it until I am satisfied. I know there are probably a million ways to get strings out. I don't know a million ways. I only know 2. And both of them work for me. See? You think they're gone, but they're not. Dry it off so you don't put that water in your potatoes. All right? Keep going until you're satisfied. All right? I can see the difference already. And this is one thing you will learn too. When you're making pies, the strings, for some strange reason, whatever you're using to mix, whether it's a hand mixer or that the standalone mixer, they tend to stick along the sides of the bowl. So you have to make sure you scrape that bowl down. Oh, she did? Yeah, I've been doing this forever. And I seen a lady put up a video the other day. She was making sweet potato pies. And I saw her do this. And I told her on a video, I said, I have never, and I mean never, I've never seen anybody get the strings out the way I do it. And of course, we know that there's nothing new under the sun. Okay? Look at that. But now it's getting less. It's getting less now. So what I'm going to do is, I know y'all probably say, this man crazy. Yeah, but it works. It works, okay? It works. And again, if you don't mind swallowing strings, then you can totally omit this part. You can even fast forward through it on the video. All right? I'm not finished with that yet. But what I'm going to do is, I'm gonna go ahead and add 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna add 4 tablespoons of butter. That's a half a stick, okay? I'm gonna add 4 tablespoons of butter. It is important to add that butter while your potatoes is still hot. All right? We're gonna use the rest of this in the top. 4 tablespoons of butter. That water is turning orange because of them strings. See? It may not look like it, but it's getting less stringy. It's like you putting your mixer in a bath almost. All right, we're gonna keep moving. I know to start it before I add anything because by the time I get where I'm going, it'll be less. Now I can tell you how much sugar to put in here, but I need you. You can do what I'm doing and then go back and taste it before you add your eggs because it may not be sweet enough for you. Okay, it may not be sweet enough for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a half a cup of white sugar. And we're going to do a half cup of brown sugar. I'm going to put it right in this same thing, but just do a half of it. The only true measurements of brown sugar, you have to pack it down. All right. To get accurate measurements, you have to pack your brown sugar down. You have to pack it down. All right. Half a cup brown sugar. Oven is on 375. Make sure you run it around the side of your bowl. Make sure you guys are sharing, tapping the screen. And if you're new, give me a follow. I appreciate it. Sweet potato casserole. All right. It's getting less and less. I know y'all probably talking crazy about me dipping this thing. But if something works, you know the old saying would say, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. That's not broke at all. All right? It works. That's good. That is good. But there is a but. Okay? There is a but. I'm going to add 1/4 of a cup more white sugar. Okay? 1/4 cup more white sugar. So now that brings your total. But try it. Before you add that 1/4 of a cup, that's going to bring the total to 3/4 cup of white sugar. And then you have a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Y'all know how I am about eggs. Okay? And because I know I wanted to taste this sugar, the sweetness of it, that's why I didn't add the eggs yet. But the eggs are going next. 2 large eggs. When you do this, you'll be able to look and tell when it goes from strings to just being a little of the pie mix because it's getting thicker. You're adding that sugar and butter and all that stuff in there. You'll see when they go from strings to the... So, 2 eggs, okay? 2 large eggs at that. 2 large eggs. My grandma taught me to beat these eggs a little bit before you add them in. I never asked her why. I just did what she said. Now you know after you add those eggs, that's the end of your tasting. Okay? There's no more tasting after you add those eggs. So we're gonna get the eggs mixed in. I don't know about y'all. I don't like dark sweet potato pie. My grandmother makes her pie dark, and I love it. Just the way she makes it. But when I say I don't like something, I mean I don't make mine that way. Maybe I should start saying that. I don't make my pies dark. Okay? But most certainly, you can make them, you can put as much nutmeg and cinnamon. Cinnamon, a lot of cinnamon would change the color also. All right, milk, a 1/2 cup of milk. You can use sweet milk if you want. I'm using carnation milk, as you can tell by the color. I'm using carnation milk. I don't use whole milk in my pies, okay? I don't use whole milk. Carnation milk is a richer milk. We're making sweet potato casserole. So if you look at that, that's more pie mix than it is strings. You see the difference to what I showed you earlier, okay? And as you can see, I keep scraping this because I want everybody to get well acquainted. Right. So now we're going in for the gusto. A squirt of lemon juice, okay? That was 2 drops because the first one was like a 1/2. This is a teaspoon of vanilla. All right. This is cinnamon. I don't put nutmeg in my pies. I don't put nutmeg in my casserole. But most certainly, if you want to, please do so. All right? Please do so. I'm just not going to do it. I don't like nutmeg. Nutmeg make your pies too dark just for my liking. All right? That's a teaspoon of cinnamon. All right? That is a teaspoon of cinnamon. Hold on, y'all. Let me get this lady out here. She always wants somebody to see something. We don't want to see it, ma'am. You're letting everybody see it. All right. Now, here's the thing. I put pumpkin. I know. I put pumpkin pie spice in my casserole in my sweet potato pies. It is my secret ingredient. Okay, I know it's for pumpkin pies, but I love the flavor that it gives. And I'm gonna add a half teaspoon. All right, I've always done this. I know people that put apple pie spice in their sweet potato pies. All right, that's my secret ingredient that I just gave y'all. Pumpkin pie spice. Am I missing something? Yeah, I am. Salt. That's why I got everything set out. A half a teaspoon of salt. You wouldn't even know what's in there. If you can taste it that it's in there, you don't use too much. I've never used apple pie spice, but I know somebody that does, and their pie is amazing. Yeah, I know, but it's not enough to even worry about. It has nutmeg in it, but it's not the same as pouring nutmeg in it. My grandmother had a sister. I think she left us last year, maybe a year and a half ago. And y'all might find this, you might find this hard to believe. I promise you, I have never ever encountered this again in my life. That lady could make a pumpkin pie, and I promise you, you would swear up and down, sideways, round and around, that it was sweet potato. I don't know what she did, how she did it, but she could make that pumpkin pie. And I don't eat nobody else's. And she gone now, so I won't be eating it. Ooh. Look, y'all know I said not to taste it after the eggs, right? I just couldn't help it. I'm just telling you the right thing to do. So, sometimes you have to go in to make sure that you get it mixed from the bottom. You really ain't supposed to taste it after you put the egg in there, y'all. But I just couldn't resist it. All right. Normally, I don't either. So we're going to move this, clean up our little station here, because it is a mess. Dishes in the sink. See, I need somebody on set that can handle the backhand. All right. See that? Yeah, I'm gonna go back and screen record this and post it. All right, I'm gonna go back and screen record it, and then I'm gonna post it. So we're gonna move this down. All right, we're gonna move this down. This is going to be our topic. This is going to be our topic. All right, this is going to be our topic. I'm gonna put a glove on because it works better for me by hand. All right, it works better for me by hand. Now your topping is going to be brown sugar. This is a half a cup of brown sugar. You know what? I'm just gonna I'm gonna indulge. I'm just gonna indulge and be greedy. Okay, I'm gonna double the whole topping recipe, because after all, it is the best part. It is the best part. All right, we're gonna double it. But if you need to make half, you just use half of what I'm telling you. We're going to use a half stick of butter, okay? Half stick of butter. I'm not going to double the butter. We're going to use, this is a third of a cup of flour. All right, but I'm going to do that 2 times since I decided to double it. I'm going to be a little greedy. All right. And you need anywhere from a cup to a cup and a half of chopped pecans. I'm going to use 2 cups, all right, because I'm doubling the recipe. So I'm going to use 2 cups of pecans, all right. Use 2 cups of pecans. We're going to start it out with this and see. No, that's not going to work. Hold on. It ain't going to work. This works so much better. Now, you can also melt the butter, okay? But I don't want to put that hot butter in here with this flour and stuff. So I prefer to mix it by hand. Because I know somebody's going to say, oh, you've been touching on all that stuff. The topping is the best part. Now, most certainly you can make this by hand, use a spoon or something, but it needs to be kind of gritty like, okay? It needs to be kind of gritty. If you use a glove like me, the butter will try to get stuck to your glove, but you're gonna need that butter to be in the mix because it's gonna help it brown, all right? It's gonna help it brown. But I feel more confident mixing it with my hand. Okay, I believe we're where we need to be. All right, you see that? Yeah, you can do it without pecans. This is what you need it to look like. Almost like sand. All right. You can use walnuts instead of pecans. You don't have to have no nuts if you don't want to. All right. Flour, sugar, butter, pecans. Now we're gonna take. I'm gonna use a bigger dish. I'm gonna use a bigger dish, y'all. I'm gonna use a bigger dish. It'll fit in a 9x13, but I wanna got my bigger dish right here. Okay. You don't have to spray it. All of that butter from those sweet potatoes, you do not have to spray it. Okay, but most certainly you can spray it if you want to. Sweet potato casserole. Whatever your favorite, let me make sure I tell you this. Whatever your favorite extracts is, you can use that, okay? You can use lemon in here if you want to. You can use butter, the butter flavored extract. Whatever your favorite extract is, use it. You can use maple syrup, honey. It's up to you. Sorry about all that noise in y'all ear. Now you're going to take your mix and spread it over the casserole. Again, I want y'all to taste y'all sugar, okay? The amount of sugar you got in here. because you may want it sweeter. All right. This level, I gotta make sure it's even out. This level of sweetness may be good for me, but it may not be sweet enough for you. All right. This is the best part right here. I'm glad I did double it. Now, me personally, I don't like to leave that sugar and stuff on that rim because you know it's gonna kind of like burn almost. So just scrape it off. All right. See that? Oh my goodness, she back again. Let me block her again. This lady got more pages than TikTok got. I ain't lying. Goodbye, ma'am. All right. Make sure your potatoes are covered. Okay? You see? Sweet potato casserole.